Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
It is 6:07 in the a.m. on this glorious Labor Day in your nation's capital. This is News Talk 105.9 WMAL. We are making sense of the news. This is O'Connor and Company. No, I'm not Larry O'Connor. I am Andrew Langer in for Larry today. You see me at CPAC and the various media things that I do, sitting alongside the wonderful and talented Bethany Mandel, the Mom Wars podcast and Substack. Bethany, how are you this morning?
Thank God I can't complain. I am running on 3 hours of sleep, but the joy of being here, the adrenaline truly of being on the radio is such that I'm okay. I'm all right.
It'll hit you. It'll hit you at about 9:15 this morning.
know.
And Bethany jinxed herself, for those of you who missed the first hour, because Bethany tweeted at me saying, Andrew, go to sleep. It was good. Yeah, you jinxed yourself there. Listen, we got a great show today. Great show. We got Joe DeGenova joining us as he does every Monday morning. Legal analyst, former U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. Mark Morano from Climate Depot. All kinds of great news on climate policy, which is what it's all about. Adam Gillette from Accuracy in Media is joining us. And Maria Flores, a former member of Congress from the great state of Texas. Yeah, lots going on there. Oh, my God. Ian Miles Chong tweeted out a picture of Greta Thunberg this morning, and there's somebody she looks like, and now I can't figure out who it is. Israel hatches plan to throw Greta Thunberg into a terrorist cell. She's got a flotilla. She's on a flotilla, Bethany. What do you make of what's going on with Greta Thunberg?
Bless her heart. I mean, I guess climate change is over. We won that battle.
Right.
I'm excited.
Well, listen, this is. Sorry, go ahead.
No, we're all good. The world isn't melting down anymore, and she has time and the bandwidth to move on and solve the next world's problem, which is just Middle East peace.
Yes.
So I think it's a pretty easy thing to achieve.
And I think no problem other than the Middle East peace problem can be solved by nobody better than Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg is exactly what needed to be added to the mix. Yeah, so we've got this flotilla that is nominally delivering aid to Gaza, supposedly.
Not even nominally. They're just not actually doing anything. It's all for show. Maybe they have like 5 pounds of flour in there. That's,
There you go. Excellent. Hopefully non-adulterated, climate-friendly flour. But let's hear what Greta Thunberg had to say. Michael, go ahead and play cut number 2.
Slowly, every day, more and more people are waking up and seeing more of the absolute atrocities, the genocide, the mass slaughtering that Israel is committing. And the question here today is not why we are sailing. This story is not at all about the mission that we are about to embark. The story here is about Palestine. The story here is how people are being deliberately deprived of the very basic means to survive.
Yeah, they're being deprived. They're completely innocent victims in all of this. And by the way, she is sounding increasingly like a war correspondent for one of the government-funded Middle Eastern news networks. She's got the cadence down there. This is. Oh, good Lord. And I love this twitchy thing. Go ahead, please.
I have a good friend who randomly, the last time she joined a flotilla, she was put on a plane back to Europe. And it was basically like, the first plane we can put you on, you're out of here. I don't think they're going to get that nice treatment this time from what I'm hearing. But he ran into her in Paris in the airport, and she was alone.
Interesting.
And he walked up to her, and he was like, "Hey, Greta, how'd that flotilla thing work out for you?"
How dare you?
And he sat there with her for, I think he told me an hour and talked to her in Paris. Yeah, and she was alone. And she's an open book. Like, she was very happy to sit there with him for an hour. And he is a super, he's not Jewish actually, but he's a super duper duper Zionist. And that's actually how I know him, is through sort of his pro-Zionist stuff. And he said that she was shockingly ill-informed.
Yes.
He was talking to her about the hostages. So I just want to throw out there, there's 48 hostages still being held in Gaza, 2 of whom are American citizens. They're believed to be deceased. There's 20 who are believed to be alive. He talked to her about the hostages, and she knew nothing about it. She is a very good spokesman for this issue, because she is as ill-informed as all the people she's informing.
Right. Well, this is where we are. I mean, it is, again, the cause heads out there who get involved in these things and they don't know what they're doing. I mean, she was certainly as ill-informed as possible when it came to climate policy, yet that didn't stop. But that's where we are in the world today, where it doesn't matter at the end if you're doing these things. But Israel's on the move. I was supposed to be over there. There was a trip I was invited on. I wound up not going. Newsmax put on looked like a fantastic trip over there. But Israel, we are now in an era where enough is enough is enough. We're going to take care of these problems. The big news right now: Israel eliminates Houthi prime minister in Yemen, an airstrike targeting senior government officials. These strikes were launched after Israel intercepted 2 drones from Yemen. I mean, we are trying to get this problem solved, aren't we, Bethany?
Yeah. And what's really exciting about those Yemen hits, which not enough people are talking about, and there's a lot of progressives who are criticizing Israel over it, because of course.
Yeah, of course.
This was truly Israel doing the dirty work for the rest of the world, America included. Yemen has been sending over constant rockets, sometimes 2 or 3 a week. And, I'm a parent of young children.
Yeah.
Most of my friends who live there are parents of young children. And let me tell you, being woken up at 5 a.m. to run your kids into a shelter is just an unsustainable way to live.
Yeah.
And no one talks about the fact that is the way that Israelis have been living for the last almost 2 years. And they had to do something about it.
Real quick, do you still, because I don't know if you were friends with Cameron Gray, radio producer Cameron Gray. So Cameron had that app installed on his phone. Every time there was I mean, do you have that? Do you have that on your thing, or do you?
No. Yeah. So I used to, and it became so disruptive that I had to stop. I mean, I'm friends with.
Explain this app real quick, because I think it's important for folks to sort of understand this. And I know we got to go to traffic.
So it's literally, it's an app on your phone that it has a GPS locator, and if there is an incoming rocket attack, it breaks through Do Not Disturb everything, and it alerts you to the fact that there's an incoming rocket.
Right.
And I have friends across Israel, and I see their social media posts like, oh, great, was woken up again today by a rocket siren. And it's been constant for the last almost 2 years.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things where Cameron had installed this on his phone so he could get a taste. And he was encouraging folks, if you want to get a taste of what it's like to be an Israeli citizen today living under the threat of these rocket attacks, install this app. It really interesting stuff. We will continue in just a moment, but first, it is 6:15.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
I mean, it is an epidemic, Bethany Mandel, isn't it, of the leftist sort of spokespeople speaking without thinking. And the more wrong they are, the louder that they speak. So we had this tragic incident last week, and I don't think any of us were surprised to learn that the shooter in Minneapolis was a leftist trans thing, unhappy with their lives, so taking it out on everybody else. But of course, the left immediately turned around and was displaying the narrative, or putting out a false narrative. Rosie O'Donnell, she had her pronouncement. That's not a pronunciation. See, it's slowing down.
I'm the one going on 3 hours, not you.
I'm trying to use anyway. So Rosie O'Donnell made a prediction about who the shooter was. Let's go ahead, Michael. Play cut number 3.
So about the Minnesota shooting, and it brought me right back to Columbine in 1999, when I just could not get it through my head that students in America were shooting each other in schools. And this was a church inside a Catholic school. And what do you know, was a white guy, Republican, MAGA person. What do you know? White supremacist.
How dare she? How dare she misgender this person, Bethany? I mean, how dare she do this? Well, she, at least to her credit, more or less, she realized she was wrong. Let's go to cut number 4, Michael.
Hi, everybody. It's Rosie O'Donnell, star of the Flintstones. Listen, I have a
Hold on.
coleslaw.
Wait, Michael, stop that for a second. I'm sorry, what?
Star of the Flintstones.
What? Okay,
Did the
I'm
Flintstones
sorry.
consent to being invoked?
I guess so. I'm sorry about this. Michael, go ahead. I'm sorry. Play that again.
Hi, everybody. It's Rosie O'Donnell, star of the Flintstones. Listen, I have a coleslaw. I know.
Jeez.
Happens. Get run
Jeez
down,
Louise.
Anyway, I know a lot of you were very upset about the video I made before I went away for a few days. I didn't go online and haven't seen them till today. But you are right. I did not do my due diligence before I made that emotional statement. And I said things about the shooter that were incorrect. I assumed, like most shooters, they followed a standard MO and had standard, feelings of NRA-loving kind of gun people.
All right.
Anyway,
we can
the
stop
truth
it.
is-
Listen, all right, first of all, here's a pro tip out there. All of you would-be hot takers out there, if your bio is, and your self-professed bio is, hi, I'm so-and-so, star of the Flintstones, nobody wants your hot take. Nobody wants your hot take on any issue whatsoever.
So I tweeted I was on the radio that morning, and I tweeted the day after this horrible shooting a screenshot of the New York Times newsletter. And I don't want to absolve Rosie O'Donnell of doing like very basic due diligence and knowing what the news is before she spouts off about it, because also her assumptions are wrong. She should check her priors at the door because there is a pattern of trans violence.
There is a pattern. That's absolutely true. But go ahead. Yeah.
But I don't want to absolve her. But if you read the New York Times newsletter that morning or any of the New York Times headlines about the shooting, you would come away with no information about what actually happened. It is willful and deliberate. They are trying to misinform people. And it's malpractice. It's journalist malpractice. And that's what we're seeing across the media spectrum. And she is ill-informed because the mainstream media want her to be.
That's exactly it. They want her to be. So you're right. We can't absolve Rosie O'Donnell, star of the Flintstones, from her lack of due diligence. When in point of fact, yes, there is a pattern, as she points out, and it is a pattern of very unhappy, unhinged folks with these identity problems who have been also themselves spun up by the media and spun up by the culture wars that are out there. That so many of these mass shooters are taking out their frustrations, their anger at the world by going and engaging in these activities. It really is amazing. There's we have this graphic here that we were just sent about the various trans shooters who are out there. So we've got so much more to get to. Right now it's 6:22 here on WMAL. Listen, we've got so much more to get to, and real quick, I want to do a shout-out, a mazel tov, to Audrey Mullen, publicist extraordinaire, and Henry Olson. They tied the knot yesterday, so congratulations to both of you. We were just so pleased over here. Listen, so much more to get to, as I said. Obviously, many guests in the coming hours. We've got your Kilmar, Abrego, Garcia news. I am Andrew Langer. That is Bethany Mandel. This is O'Connor and Company on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
Well, good morning, one and all. I'm Andrew Langer in for Larry O'Connor this week, sitting alongside the wonderfully talented Bethany Mandel. Good morning, Bethany.
Good morning. Andrew, I just saw a video of something in a bag of rice that someone microwaved, and I don't think I'm ever going to eat again.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
That's the problem with Twitter.
Yes, we should not be doom scrolling Twitter while we were on the air this morning. We'll get to this in a second. I want to hear all about this. We got a great show. Great show this morning coming up. We got Joe DeGenova joining us in the next hour. Mark Morano from Climate Depot is joining us as well. Adam Gillette from Accuracy in Media, and Maria Flores, former Texas Congresswoman. Actually, Bethany, listen. We're going to do our Kilmar Abrego Garcia in a second. Do you want to tell us? Or we lost. I lost my feed here of Bethany. But Bethany, do you want to tell us what you saw in the
No,
bag of
I don't.
rice?
I don't think anyone should have to be subjected to this.
Okay.
We're just going to blow past it and move on and talk about the news, and I'm never going to think about it again.
Oh, okay. Clearly, is this something that Kilmar Abrego Garcia might find in a Ugandan bag of rice if he ever finally gets turfed from the country?
He's going to find out now, isn't he?
Yes, well, that's where we are. Listen, we are in the full-on F around and find out mode of government. We are not messing around anymore. Enough is enough, and apparently this is not to the satisfaction of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. They've just filed a gag order against the Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem and Attorney General Pam Bondi to bar them from making baseless public attacks. Now, I'm not sure what a baseless public attack is for a guy who was accused of all kinds of things and allowed to stay in this country. But they're saying in a Thursday motion to the Middle District of Tennessee, quote, to safeguard his right to a fair trial, Mr. Abrego respectfully renews his earlier requests that the court order that all DOJ and DHS officials involved in this case and all officials in their supervisory chain refrain from making extrajudicial comments that pose a substantial likelihood of materially prejudicing his proceedings. Clearly, his lawyers are not aware that they're in a federal court system which is predominated by leftist activist judges, Bethany. And they're not going to get prejudged in the negative way if Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi speak out. But especially when you get situations where they're being edited. We've got this. Kristi Noem appeared on CBS, and they tried to cover it up. Here is the edited clip that CBS aired the other day. Let's go ahead and play cut number 5.
And the one thing that we will continue to do is to make sure that he doesn't walk free in the United States of America.
All right, that's the edited cut. Here is what she actually said. Let's go ahead and play cut number 6.
This individual was a known human smuggler, a MS-13 gang member, an individual who was a wife beater, and someone who was so perverted that he solicited nude photos from minors, and even his fellow human traffickers told him to knock it off. He was so sick in what he was doing and how he was treating small children. So he needs to never be in the United States of America, and our administration is making sure we're doing all that we can to bring him to justice.
I mean, this is where we are, Bethany. It is a situation in which we simply cannot take care of the problems that are in our midst. And of course, the left gets very angry when someone who's not a wife beater gets deported. But even the wife beaters, this is where we are in 2025, isn't it?
No, I mean, this really goes back to the last segment where I was talking about journalistic malpractice. They are in the business of trying to misinform people. And it's willful, and that was one of the more glaring instances. And I think that the more that we have Trump surrogates going on TV and having them do this, the better, because it really just shows the media for who they are.
Yeah, it was on this program that I first learned, and I wasn't even hosting. I was listening, like many of you, listening to an interview that Larry and I think it was Julie did, talking about the fact that beyond the issue of deporting Kilmar Abrego Garcia to El Salvador, back to El Salvador, he could be easily just sent anywhere else. And so when I was making the joke about Uganda, that's not a joke. This is the plan right now. If they can't send him out there, they're going to send him there. Here is Stephen Miller talking about this. Let's pick cut 7.
Now, so the point about Uganda, You just have to marvel at this. The same left-wing NGOs who tell us that we should open our borders to all the poor countries of the world also tell us that it would be unfair, improper to have anybody live in those countries. Well, if those countries don't have good systems of law and good systems of governance, then why would we want to have open migration from those countries? So these two propositions are in complete conflict. But more fundamentally, remember, Garcia has said he doesn't want to go back home to El Salvador. That's what he said. So we're honoring that request by providing him with an alternate place to live. We're not a travel booking agency. It's not our job to say to illegal alien terrorists, pick your favorite destination in the world and we'll send you a charter jet there. We have countries that have very graciously agreed to help resettle nationals from other countries, which is a great benefit to the United States. And obviously that's something that Garcia is eligible for.
This is the issue, right? At the end of the day, you don't want to be in your country, right? Well, you don't have a right to stay here, right? You don't have a right to remain present in America illegally multiple times, break our laws allegedly, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. You have to leave. And it doesn't matter to us. It should not be up to us to sort of have to determine these things. That's what Stephen Miller is saying. Listen, we got so much more to get to. It's 6:43 on WMAL.
This afternoon on the Derek Hunter Show, Democrats are going to hate you anyway. We might as well make fun of them in the process. 3 o'clock on WMAL.
All right, Bethany, you're going to have to explain this to me because I don't understand this. What is the left's obsession with Kilmar Abrego Garcia? Why are they fetishizing this man? Everybody and their brother wants to get their picture taken with him. You got Mark Warner, senator from Virginia. I didn't realize that Kilmar, no longer Maryland man, now Virginia man living in Farmville. He went and Mark Warner went and visited him down there. I don't understand. Everybody wants their picture taken with him.
So I think in the beginning he was an avatar. He was the Maryland dad.
Yeah.
And they cannot fathom doing what Rosie O'Donnell did, admitting that they had not enough information and they ran with it. And so they've just decided to just tweet through it.
Yeah.
to just go through it and pretend like he's a Maryland dad. I mean, and listen, they have the media, they having faced the nation doing it for them. So why not just continue to gaslight all of us if they have the media doing cover for them?
It gets to this whole issue as you were talking about, which is they want to make sure that their voters are as ill-informed as possible going into the elections, right? Ill-informed voters who don't have to show ID, which is the next part of the story. As we keep talking about the Trump administration trying to take care of so many of these things, this is big news. One of the great failures of the first Trump administration was that they didn't take care of the liabilities in our election system. Trump, they just announced, Trump says he will order voter ID requirement for every vote that's out there. President Donald Trump said on Saturday he will issue an executive order. This is huge, as it were, and of course, the hue and cry from the left was expected, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. They're shameless. I wish I had their level of shamelessness, honestly.
Yeah, chutzpah, as we say in the parlance.
You're just throwing it out left and right.
Let me tell you,
during the last segment.
I was hanging out with my family yesterday. That'll do it every time. Throwing the Yiddish in there. But yeah, I mean, listen. These are steps that needed to be taken, and we've just lain foul. This is the problem. When the Democrats have allowed, either purposefully or through benign neglect, these problems to fester. What do I mean by problems? I mean, the problem is it is unsustainable for America to allow unrestricted illegal migration into our nation. Listen, it's not just about the cultural changes, but it's about the strains on our systems, as we've talked about. We cannot allow our election integrity, the problems therein, to grow and fester over time. And so at some point when someone steps in there, when a policymaker steps in there and says, we are going to fix this problem, this does not make them a bad person. because they're finally taking steps. It's the folks who have allowed it to get to this point that are the bad people. Bethany, wouldn't you agree? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense for the left, though, to clean up this issue, because there was a fantastic, wonderful, heartwarming piece in the New York Times about a week ago where it showed the future electoral map for Democrats, and it is bleak. Bleak for Democrats. And so this is their shot, is to play fast and loose with who can vote.
Yes. By the way, obviously, Gavin Newsom saying the quiet part out loud. Here he is on a podcast. Let's play cut number 8.
In L.A., do you think ICE is not going to show up around voting and polling booths to chill participation? You know that. The National Guard, you know that. Everybody knows what's at stake, so we have to put a stake in the ground and do things differently.
Here's what we know. We know voter ID itself doesn't prevent lawful voters from voting. We've seen this in Georgia, despite the hue and cry from the other side. Hey, guess what? I don't want illegals voting, and I want them discouraged from showing up to the polls and voting. We know that it's happened. We know that it's going to happen unless stuff is taken care of. And what Bethany just said is absolutely correct, right? This is what the Democrats are counting on. And by the way, anybody who tells you differently, the fact is that in places like Maryland, in corners of Bethany's favorite home county, Montgomery County, they want people who are non-citizens to vote. They want people who are young to vote, young and naive to vote. Isn't this right, Bethany?
Yeah, I'm making faces because you're right.
Yes, I know. Thank you. Listen,
terrible.
I'm not my buddy Jerry, so we can't say Andrew's just right because that's his segment there. Listen, we got so much more to get to. It's 6:52 here on WMAL.